Welcome to the Indie Music Room, a conversation with independent artists about writing, recording, performing, and promoting their original music. And now here's your host, Heather Kelly.
Hey everybody, you're listening to Heather Kelly with the Indie Music Room, and I'm excited to introduce our Artist of the Month for June, all the way from Flint, Michigan. Welcome, Jason Waggoner. How are you today?
I am excellent, Heather. Thank you for having me.
Fantastic. I'm excited. We've had a chance to visit a little bit. Why don't you tell everybody a little bit about your background, where you're from, and how you got involved in the music business?
It all started with childhood trauma, and just right from there, it went on. I've always wanted to play music since the time that I was a small child. I started playing guitar. I had an older brother who was hit by a car when I was 7 and he was 9. And my mom, with the insurance money, bought me a guitar, which I still have. It's not up here, but I still have the guitar. And so I took some lessons briefly then. And as you know, learning down in the valley wasn't where I wanted to be. So
Right.
I put it aside. And then when I was 13, I got myself a BC Rich Warlock and started learning Dokken tunes. And that was where it kind of started. But I was super, super insecure, struggled with self-worth issues. So nobody knew that I played music. And then I started playing publicly when I was in the Navy in my 20s. And that was kind of where it really, really started taking off. I played in a touring band out of Detroit real briefly. And then I had my daughter. And at that point in 1999, I said, I think restaurants is the place for me. So,
Right.
And
I did see that you played in the 90s and you toured with a couple bands. How was your touring experience? Where all did you go?
Considering that we were kind of doing it on a shoestring, it sucked. It was, and at that point I was just playing guitar, and it was a grunge band kind of a thing. And it was some friends of mine when I got out of the Navy, and we went out, we were basically following Ozfest at the time. And so we were playing like after parties for Ozfest. And so we weren't even going on until 2 a.m, in just the weirdest places, abandoned Chinese restaurants where, they were throwing basically raves and we were playing it. So it sucked, but we played it. We would play one-off shows around the region. Like we played this area quite a bit, but then we did some other stuff as well. But it was brief. It was only a couple of years, and then I had my daughter, and that took precedence.
Yeah. So how old is your daughter now?
She is 23.
Same as mine.
Yeah.
Kindred spirits, I'm sure. I commend you for being a single parent. I've been there myself, and it's not an easy task, but it seems like you've done it very well and flawlessly. So congratulations.
It's a wild thing, and I'm sure you can attest to this. When they go away, it's especially if you're a single parent, being that I was, through the whole time single for the most part. When she left, my identity left.
Yeah.
Like I was like, I'm still a parent, but I'm like,
what do I do with my time? What do I do with myself? Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know if it's about the midlife crisis or whatever, but at that point I started evaluating what I wanted to do. And that's how I ended up at Flint. I started taking classes at University of Michigan. They have a Flint campus. And so I ended up here. I was singing opera for it there. And so that was like a whole different, it was a world that I grew up in a rural suburban town, and moving to Flint, I didn't know anybody. I was just like, I told my daughter,
That's fascinating. You went to opera?
Yeah, I was singing classically.
Very cool.
Yeah, it was neat. It was, I've always been, I'm a music junkie. So like classical's always been a thing, but it was just, the thing was, is I started performing with a wedding band, I couldn't communicate like all these classically trained musicians. And it's a really big wedding band. They have enough members to have 8 bands out at a time.
Oh my gosh.
And it's basically a roster where they just say, you want to do this wedding or this wedding. And it was so you might show up for a 10-piece band and have never met anybody, and you're going to play somebody's most important day of their life. And so I had a hard time communicating with people in that sense. So that's how I ended up taking music classes. And I had never lived in a city like that. And I was just like, this is something. So I just moved here on a whim and told my daughter, I said, we're moving. And she hated it. And now she loves it. But she lives in Kalamazoo, Michigan now. She studies art there, and she came home today, and she left, and I was like, when doing the dad, do you want a snack? Do you want this? Do you want to? She's 23, and I'm like, and I was like, I texted her after. I said, I didn't give you a hug goodbye, and I almost started crying because I was just like. Those moments, you get pretty emotional about it at times. It's pretty wild. And as a guy, I don't think guys generally embrace that too much. I don't think they really appreciate those moments. But
sounds like you had a chance for you and her to really build on your relationship through all those years. So
Oh yeah, we were. Being that I had her full time, we did everything. I always made it clear though. I'm like, I'm not your friend. I'm your dad.
Right.
So, but still, it was. We were always doing museums. We were doing. We never did concerts. Honestly, I never wanted to push her towards music because it's such. If that's the way she wanted to go, I'd be like, that's cool. But I just wanted her to kind of develop her own thing. So she does animation. She does all my branding. She does all of my branding. So any posters, she did animation for the Yellow Chair Diaries and stuff like that. But she actually restores film for the Library of Congress right now. So she's doing films like she just did like Betty Boop and stuff like that. So it's wild. So, but anyway, yeah, that's she and I.
Well, that's wonderful. Why don't you let everybody know a little bit about what instruments you play, what your technique is. If some people are jack of all trades and play drums and bass and guitar and everything to put their music together. Tell me a little bit about yourself.
I play guitar for the most part. I play electric. Electric was my first, so I can play electric. I have one sitting up here. Right there.
Yeah.
So I mess around with the mandolin a little bit. I fake my way through it. I actually tried to tune it like a guitar, but it didn't work out. And then I play acoustic.
Tip for you. You should tune it like a violin. G, D, A, E. Try that.
Oh, that's the way I had it tuned. But I was just the other day, I was like, well, let's see. Because I saw some guys like, yeah, you should tune it like a guitar. It makes it easy. And I'm like, I'm tuning. I'm like, I'm waiting for the string to burst. That mandolin and the acoustic guitar on the wall, the Far acoustic, that was my uncle's guitar. That's the first guitar I ever played. He was in a bluegrass band when I was a little kid, and I think I was four or five when I played that, and then he passed away of cancer long ago, and I just asked if I could buy it from my aunt, and she said, you can just have it. It was just sitting in a closet.
Oh, nice.
Falling apart. So, but the mandolin and that acoustic were his, and that acoustic was my grandpa's acoustic. So the action's like that high. It's horrible, but it's fun to play.
Nice.
But I play bass on all my stuff. I do all the singing for the most part. If I need drums, I'll program drums and then hire a drummer.
Right.
I know a lot of drummers. So, just if I need to, it's finding the right drummer. Now, my first release that I did way back and that I never did anything for, I just had a collection of songs that I did and put it out. I had a drummer on that, like a physical, but the last stuff, it's just, there's one drum and it's just programmed. I play the tambourine. I'm good at that.
I got one too.
The shaker.
That's right. Well, let's go ahead and talk about the first song we're going to showcase today. Tell me a little bit about the best week ever.
So basically it's about a woman, and that first week of hanging out, it was really cool, and it ended after that first week, and I was like, man, this was wild. So it was just one of those things that, but that's what came of it. And it's a weird song for me because it's to me, it's pretty poppy. It has a very pop feel to it. There's another version of it that's electric with drums and everything, but this is the one that I settled on. The reason I settled on it, the production of my last EP, was just because I could record it in my basement. And then my duo partner is in a band called Sponge out of Detroit. They had some success in the 90s. They were pretty big on the MTV circuit. And but he has a studio that they recorded all of Sponge's stuff. So he mixed it and mastered it. So, but that's basically the gist of the song. It came together in just a matter of an hour or so. And then I just quickly threw it together. So.
That's how some of the best ones come along. So let's go ahead and take a listen to best week ever. Excuse me. So we'll take a listen to that and we'll be right back with you.
Didn't expect this. I know I'm reckless, but here we are, and the whole world could come crashing down. Do I just go with it? Baby, I know that it's only been a week, and who's to say if this is meant to be? But all I really know is this has been the best week ever. I can't help but wonder where we're headed to, but we only have this moment, and this moment is all I'm trying to pay attention to. I'll just go with it. Baby, I know that it's only been a week, and who's to say if this is meant to be? But all I really know is this has been the best week ever. Know if it'll be alright, and even if we only have just one more night, all I really know is this has been the best week ever. So far, it's just gone so fast. Who knows if it's ever gonna last? That it's only been a week. Baby, you know that it's only been a week, and who's to say if this is meant to be? But all I really know is this has been the best week ever. Baby, I don't know if it'll be alright, and even if we only have just one more night, all I really know is this has been the best week ever.
That was Best Week Ever, written by Jason Waggoner. That's a great song, Jason. I can see where you're coming from about having that incredible week, that 1 week with your special lady. So it's a great
Fun
song.
times.
Yeah. So why don't you tell me a little bit more what brought you to Flint, Michigan, other than going to school up there? Tell me a little bit more about that.
Well, okay, so I moved here. I don't know how many of your listeners are familiar with the water crisis that happened in Flint. That's when I moved here. I moved here right in the middle of it. And I moved into a loft, and that was the thing. I'd never lived in a loft. That was part of the thing. And so I moved into a loft right downtown overlooking the city, and it was a ghost town. I mean, it was a literal outside of major news trucks. It was a ghost town. There was, Flint was a pretty decimated town. And there were a couple of stores downtown that I really, I shouldn't say stores. There was a coffee shop and a clothing store called Good Boy. And that was it. Really. There were a couple of restaurants, but they weren't doing very well. And since that was 6 years ago, and since I've lived here, I've just watched this city like just bounce back in a major way. The whole downtown has been basically redone. A lot of money came into the city, a lot of investment, a lot of, trying to, help the situation and turn the situation around here. So since then, I've seen it went from one coffee shop to 4 coffee shops. I have some friends of mine own a new bookstore called Comma Bookstore. I'm wearing a Bedrock shirt. My ring is from a place called the Flint Trading Company. My necklace is from Ebony Gemstones. I spend my money here. I find that most of my T-shirts I just want to support the businesses here locally. As much as possible. I really believe in shopping local as much as you possibly can. Obviously, I have to get things off of Amazon, and but it's either local, the grocery store, or because I believe, or just local. That's mostly it. But I'm not just supporting the business. I'm supporting the employees. So it's a big deal to me, especially in a city like this that you can come to a city like Flint and make a huge difference in a very, very small amount of time because they're just open to it. They're open to help. They're open to all of it. So.
Well, it sure sounds like you've made your statement, becoming the ambassador of Flint, Michigan. Tell us that little story. That's what
I've had people call me the mayor. I've had people call me an ambassador. I just played Tuesday. I played an event downtown, and it was basically the ambassadors of Genesee County. Wonderful. It was people who just get out and spread the word. And it was at a renovated 100-year-old hotel that's downtown here that Hilton renovated. They have a rooftop bar and everything like that. But it just as I had said earlier, during lockdown, I started doing a lot of live streaming on my show called The Yellow Chair Diaries on my Facebook page.
Right.
And I would play in the businesses that were shut down and the restaurants, and I would get tips. I would get tips from my live stream, and I did it twice a week. I did it Tuesdays and Sundays for an hour. I had an intro. I did things like people would send in videos. I would have an hour of people sending in just videos, like what's their talent, their pets, their Christmas lights, whatever it was, and I would do giveaways I would take the tips from the live stream, and I would buy gift certificates, and then I would give those away, or I would go into the business and do a giveaway, but then with the tips, I would donate the tips to the staff. And so that was a big deal, and people appreciated it. The businesses appreciated it.
Of course they do.
That's been my thing though, is I have a credo, I guess, where it's like, I'm not here to sell Flint to Flint. I'm here to sell Flint to other people. As a musician, that I think a lot of musicians forget what their role is. And first and foremost, it's to entertain. Mm-hmm. And so my job during COVID especially was I wanted to be the fiddler on the Titanic. If it was going down, I was playing music. I was there to entertain. I wasn't there I didn't want to cry. I wanted people to forget while they were at home, the 100 or so people watching at any given time. I wanted them to be able to talk to me and interact with me and request songs and be a part of the community. And it was a big deal. And it is still a really big deal to me. So I think that as an entertainer, and I still I do a lot of stuff on TikTok. and everything I do is pretty much Jason Waggoner music too. But on TikTok, I see a lot of guys that are just like, oh, I'm not getting any support. And I'm like, man, listen, people, they got their own problems right now. That's not your job. Your job isn't to join in the misery. Your job is to take them away from the misery. Even if you're singing a sad song, that's fine. But they don't want to, that's just my philosophy. I could be off base. What about I also have another motto called, what the hell do I know? So.
I like that motto, but I do think what you said, you're very onto something. People want to hear us to be inspired, not to jump down the rabbit hole with us. So,
right. Yeah, totally.
Well, I want to talk a little bit. I know this is your most recent release, and I love this song as well. It is called "Lovely to Say." Give me a background with that before we listen to it.
Honestly, this stemmed from my my live stream, and it's like, and we spoke earlier about mental health. Mental health is super important to me as somebody who struggled with depression and anxiety and self-worth and all those issues. It's a big deal to me. And basically what it is that song is about, as we get older, losing that that feel of value, as we get older, and it's like the part of my French, the shit we've been through and all the problems and just being able to look at somebody and say, you still got it. Don't worry about it. You still got it. It doesn't just, we're not dead. We're not dead yet. Yeah. And that's, I think we spoke earlier too about, it's, the way we view age, the way we view people who are older, and the way we looked at them, and then applying, well, man, my grandpa was old. Now I'm that age. I'm old. And it's when I'm just still here. Well, fuck that. I'm still going. I'm not done dreaming. And so that's really what the that song's about. It's just like, hey, you still got it. Don't quit flaunting it.
That's right. I love your attitude. With that said, Jason, we're going to go ahead and take a listen to "Lovely to Say."
Would you ever have looked at me, your excellence in your elegant way? And I wonder what saint let you in. Well, your halo is tilted and not quite as shiny, but I think you're lovely. You're a sight to be seen like the heavens, but I think you're lovely. You can hold light in your hands like the weapons that you won't use on me. Oh no. So surely seems so sorry, I'd offer an apology had I never been graced by your majesty. It's as if my legs will move like I'm in a dream, but I think you're lovely. You're a sight to be seen like the heavens, but I think you're lovely. You can hold light in your hands like the weapons that you won't use on me. I'm just a pawn you move around. I for sure was lost, but now I'm fine.
Lovely to Say by Jason Waggoner. Another great song, Jason. You just keep pumping them out.
That's what I do.
Well, that's good. We're looking for more. I can't wait to hear more. Speaking of that, why don't you share with everybody? I know when I Googled your name, you have stuff all over. You got YouTube videos, live, of course, your, what was it called? The Yellow Chair?
The Yellow Chair Diaries. That was the name of my Facebook Live.
Right. So you've got all those to watch. Tell me about your performing gig right now, or your schedule. What's going on with that?
So I've been a cover artist for a while, for the past, since I started raising my daughter. That was really when I just started playing acoustic for the most part. But so I've been doing the restaurant thing, and I've done other venues. I've played original shows. I've done other things, but it's rare that I do originals. And so now I'm at a point where I'm starting to I want to phase out the covers, and I'm trying to do more original music. I want to follow there's a certain business model that I'd like to follow, of where it's not a full blown tour, because I don't necessarily want to be on tour full time. I would like to do some shows. But so I play, I'm playing tomorrow. I'm playing a party, a private event. And then next week I'm playing Benny's Beer Hall, which is a place in the area here. But I just started recently playing with the bass player of Sturgill Simpson. So kind of working on stuff with him and my duo partner, as I said, who's in a band called Sponge out of Detroit. We do gigs, but yeah, I'm trying to kind of focus on the recording. And I'm talking to a guy I met on TikTok, Eric Lichter. He runs a studio out of Connecticut. So going to start working on some music with some, a different producer. But that's really it. I play all the time. I just gotten to the point where I've just started scaling back. I'm really working TikTok right now. It's like the kids. I'm doing the dances.
Yeah, my kid. I have two kids. One's 28, one's 23. But they keep telling me, "Mom, you got to Snapchat and TikTok," and I'm like, "What?"
So I won't do Snapchat. But TikTok is. The thing I really like about TikTok is the music restrictions are way more lenient. You can, whereas on Facebook, if I play a song, if I play like any kind of recorded music, it may get muted.
Sure.
And TikTok, it's like everything. They've got everything, and the amount, and it's different because it's a different type of social media in the sense that. Facebook, Instagram, you're not necessarily going to see the other new people. Right. Whereas with TikTok, you can have a whole page of people you have no idea. And they're microchipping us. So they know what we're up to, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, so they'll give us what they know we want. And so I have met more musicians in the last, because I just really started in January. Started pushing my music on there since January. And I've met more musicians that way than I have I can't even, from the amount of gigs that I played, you see the more people you may have more in common with. The different features. So I've been really, that's been I post 3 or 4 times a day. So a song, I do a song of the day in the morning, like this is what I'm listening to this morning. What are you listening to? And people will comment on that. It's fun. It's neat.
Okay. You convinced me. I might take the jump into TikTok and have to follow you so I can watch your videos daily.
I'm telling you, it's because I was really, I didn't want to go that route because there was a connotation of it being dances and garbage. And it does take a minute to get the algorithm right for what you want. But if you know what you're doing, you can eliminate the crap right away because they're going to throw everything at you right away.
Right.
And, but then once they figure out, I don't get any garbage. I can learn how to restore a bread maker in 15 seconds, or whatever,
Exactly.
so that, and then see different bands. And and you have access. It's a different thing. But yeah, I was very averse to getting on, and I just got on in January, and just met a community of people that, for instance, there's a large vinyl community on there of people that will just videotape their record players playing records for 15 seconds. But it's fascinating because it's like you just see it and you go, oh, that's great. It may turn you on to somebody you have no idea. And I do that. I have console records, the old flip up. I buy those. I live in a 1930s Tudor in Flint. So I have all my furniture and everything pretty much fits the home. And, but I have it's a late 60s, with the red velvet.
Yes.
And,
turntable.
So I just play records on that. And, if I get a nice vinyl, like a Band of Horses put out one in Sturgill Simpson one. He put out one that came with like an actual nautical compass and everything. And I just find that stuff awesome. So,
right.
You'd be really surprised at the vinyl community that's out there. So it's stuff like that. That's what I like about it. I've almost abandoned Facebook for the most part. I go on and post some things here and Instagram here and there, but TikTok seems to be where I'm investing everything, because to come up with 3 or 4 videos a day, it's not as it's a lot of content.
It is a lot of content. Well, we're running short on time, but I do want to get to the last song, Laughing All the Time. Why don't you give us a short description of that before we take a listen?
This one just started out as just gibberish, and I just fit the words to oops, are you there? Oh, there it is. I'm sorry.
Jason is amazing.
That's the name of my phone.
Yeah.
I name all my stuff, all my phones, everything. Like I come from, like, I had such low self-worth as a kid, and so everything I have is named, Jason is cool, Jason is amazing, whatever. So anytime I plug my phone in and it says connected to Jason is amazing, it's just
exactly. I love it.
So anyway, the song is just basically it's not gibberish, but it's I'm a melody guy. Lyrics mean less to me than the melody. So it's just it's kind of, the song is just basically about, we'd be having a really good time if we were hanging out. So that's pretty much it.
With that, Jason, let's go ahead and take a listen to Laughing All the Time. Jason Waggoner.
All right, let's do it.
If you love me, do it. You'll just be guilty of love. You'll make the time for striking out blind, saying, no one could stop this right now. We could laugh about the time. She says this ain't the love that they told me of. We'd be laughing all the time. You should be losing yourself right here. Oh, you saw the lovers in the night, like we might. We'll be the lovers with the sentimental smoke show. No one could stop this right now. We could laugh about the time. She says this ain't the love that they told me of. We'd be laughing all the time. It's the calming of your voice for me. When there's a storm raging in your eyes, I see. about the time. She says this ain't the love that they told me of. We'd be laughing all the time. We'd be laughing all the time.
That was Laughing All the Time with Jason Waggoner. Jason, it's been my privilege to have you on today. You're quite a character to talk to, and I learned a lot myself about TikTok and other things. What I'm going to do is I'm going to post all of your links for people to catch you off of our website, and make sure you share this link when it comes out. Do you have any last words to add?
No, I just really appreciate it, Heather. I really appreciate the opportunity to talk, and you're going to be on TikTok as soon as this comes out.
My first introduction to TikTok, Heather Kelly. Intro to TikTok.
This comes out. Yeah, as soon as this comes out, it'll be on TikTok.
So. You're a very talented individual. It's been my privilege to meet you. So we'll stay in touch. With that said, everyone, thank you for listening to this month's June edition of the Indie Music Room with Heather Kelly. Take care. Be safe.
You've been listening to the Indie Music Room with Heather Kelly. Be sure to listen every Saturday and Sunday right here on FortDodgeRadio.com and subscribe for all our past and upcoming shows. The Indie Music Room is a production of FortDodgeRadio.com.